Hello and welcome to part 7 of my video tutorial on how to make a browser game. In this episode we will be giving our player or our users some resources and trying to present those in a good way. Um, so let's get started. Let's open our SQL whatever it's called software, and we will create a new table like so. Let's call it should we call it resources? Yeah, let's call it resources. And we'll give this an ID. And same as before, the ID will be auto. No, it won't. It will not be auto incremented. But we will set a ridiculously long level. And let's get some. I don't know. What do you usually use? Let's set it as a like medieval date. Let's have some stone, wood. Whoops. What else do you have? Should probably. What else do you have? Stone, wood, maybe some gold, or iron. Let's go with iron. And let's go with the last one, which is gold. That seems fine. These values are incredibly high. I should probably lower those, but it's fine. Let's make the ID our primary index. So like this. What we are going to do, the reason we have this ID is that this ID will be the same as our user's ID. Because then whenever we want to match, even if we have like 10 different tables, we can just match on the ID and not something stupid like the username. I did that in my game in the beginning. I think it was with the weapons. And then the problem you get is that I had like the inventory, there was the weapons in clear text. So when I wanted to change a weapon's name, I couldn't do that in a good way because I needed to change the name, then I needed to change for every single user that had that item in their inventory or in their equipment, I needed to go and manually change that. But if you just keep everything and you just match it with the ID, then it's going to be fine. So yeah, let's create this manually for now. I'm just going to put in the ID of 13. We will give my players some values like that. So we can see our users. Our user is 13, and this is auto-incremented. That means every time we create something new, it will get a new ID. And that counter is right now at 16, so the next one will be 17. So we are just gonna, when we create a user, we will also create a row in the resources. Anyways, let's just create a new page so we can visually show this. So create a new PHP file in the front end pages, and we'll call it maybe we'll call it the world because it'll be like your world. Oh, hang on. Let's create some field sets. Legend. So the legend here is the name. I'm just gonna write this in line. It's gonna be fine. So let's call it resources. Is that how you spell it? Resources. That's how you spell it. In here we can create a couple of spans. So what spans are, it's pretty much like an empty container. I mean, we could have used divs here. Let's create a class that we will call quarter width. And I'm sorry for not explaining this. I will once we do this. So we're going to create 4 of these. Like so. And for now, let's just type it out like wood. What else did we had? We had stone, and we had some iron, and we have some gold, like that. So let's get this class, which is quarter width. If we look at this page right now, if we go to localhost page equals world, we can see it's going to look like this. So this is a field set. I kind of like them because they are neat. But that is a field set. And you know what? Let's get a border around this. Border 1 pix solid black. Oh, that's not how you. It's not how you spell. There we go. There we go. Now we get a little border around that one. Anyways, so what I was going to say was, if we are just making all of these, like take up 25% of the bar, it will look pretty good. So let's create that quarter width class, just like so, and we will give them a width of 25%. And if we just update this now, it will look weird, right? Nope. Apparently it doesn't. I thought it would. Maybe spans doesn't work in that way. Anyways, let's give them a float as well. Float left. And now we'll see that they have... There we go. That's what we wanted. So it looks a bit weird right now. And that's because it doesn't look centered. But that's because each div, it will start at the left, right? So if we just change this to align in the center, align center, and we update, and that looks much better. So maybe we can have like values, gold, iron, stone, wood. I guess they would look something like this. Maybe something like this. Not super pretty, but it works. It works. So let's try to make it a bit more dynamical. So what we can do we can do that in our in the world.php file. If we we can just do a SQL query up here, which would say select everything from resources, where the ID, it's going to be our ID. So the ID, because we already have that in our session variable called logged in. Actually, I don't think we do. Hang on, let's see. So log in, and then we set a cookie or a session variable called logged in, and we put in our username. That's probably not a good idea. Let's instead put in our ID. So ID is like that. Same syntax as there. And that should be fine. And let's see what happens. So we have that. So if we just do a we just do a query here, query SQL, and then we just get those results. We just fetch all like that, and now I believe we should be able to use this. Let's see. So here we should just be able to say echo results. I don't think if we need the 0 or not. Let's assume we do. And let's just type in wood. I think it's weird. Let's see if this works. Let's go back here. Yeah, we're gonna get lots of errors because we were not logged in. So let's log in, and we'll go to the page called world. And we still get a bunch of errors. So undefined variable db. Yeah, that is because we are getting this connection page, but we need to say that we're going to use the global DB connection. So if you just go back and just type in global DB, that means we can use the DB and all the functions in that class. So we'll go back here, and there we go. Is this correct? I think it is. We only did it for the wood, but yeah, we have 1, 2, 3 wood. Awesome. So we should be able to. I just want to see if we can remove this. I don't think we can, but this is actually the first time I'm using PDO PDO, which is the thing we use for getting our information from the database. Because there are a bunch of other ways, or at least two that I know of, which is the MySQL commands and the MySQL I commands. And I've always been using the MySQL I, but they say PDO is better. I don't know. You can do prepared statements in both, but in MySQL I, if there's just one result, you don't need this. But this should be fine for now. Maybe we should see if we can fix this somehow later. But we can just type in these for all of them, just like that. Iron and the gold down here. Iron and gold. So now if we go back and we update, we see that they are all correct. And if we change one of them to like 145 iron, and we update, and there we go, 145. So that's good. We have something. That's pretty good. One thing to note is that, as you can see here, I am not using prepared statements. So if your ID would be something like, if your ID would be like 1, and same as always, drop table users, this is gonna destroy your users database. But since I am taking the ID directly from the session variable, which is stored on the server, I don't think you need to do prepared statements. I think you can just get it like this. And this is quicker to write, so yeah. Oh, let's remove that. So this is probably fine for now. Yeah, let's see if we can spend these resources. Let's see if we can build something. You know what? Let's set up some kind of world. Let's set up like a grid. Let's make a grid. Let's see. So we can just use for loops for this. We can say that for equals y. Let's make it 5 and I plus plus. So this means we will do it 5 times. And then let's do it one more time inside it. And you know what? Instead of calling it I, let's call it x, and let's call it y because that makes more sense. So we are gonna create like a total of 25 boxes. So it will be like 1 1. Oh, that's not correct. 1 1 1 1, and then it will do it again, and 1 1 1 1. Oh, that doesn't work. Fuck that. Let's let's just do this. So let's see. How do we actually do this? We should probably change. Yeah, we should change these. The x should be y. I mean, this is just cosmetical. You could do it the other way if you want to, but for clarity, let's just echo out divs, or let's just echo out spans. Why not? Span, and we will give them. They will have a class name, which we'll say is. We can call it grid box, maybe, something like that. And let's define this class in our default CSS. And we can say they're going to have a width of, the maximum we could do would be 20%, but let's keep it at 15. And let's give them a border just so it's going to be easy to, you should also write pixels. And we can close that account options. So we're going to do this 25 times. Oh, we should also float them. And we will float them to the right. To the left, sorry. The right would work as well, but so let's go back and let's just update this. Should probably give them a height as well. Let's give them a height. Height. Let's just set this at, should we set it at 15% as well? think that's gonna work. We should also let's just do a line break once it has done 5 horizontal ones. That doesn't look great, and it doesn't look great. I think I missed something. Let's remove the line break to start with. Let's try to update that. Yeah, there we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's doing 6 of them because let's just set it to 20%. Let's update. That doesn't work too. Okay. So before this, let's just make a div that contains all of them. Echo div. Because this way they can be let's call it, let's give it an ID of it's called box holder. So this way we can set it to width 20% because the maximum width will be set by our box holder here. So we can just give this a width of 80%. We can center it by writing margin auto, and I think that's good enough. It is not. Let's see what's wrong. So this is a width of 80%. So it starts all right. Oh, I see. It's probably because of the border. That's not good. Let's remove the border, and it's going to be a bit more. It's going to be difficult to see, but let's remove the border for now. And that is perfect. Well, as perfect as it can be. But you can see it's 5 times 5, so that's good. So I cannot come up with a good way to to do this visually, because if we have a border, then the element will be bigger. So I mean, we could do something like set it to 19% and then just border 1 pixel solid black, but it's not going to look very good. Or it's going to look decent, but I mean, we will know in our minds that it's supposed to go to like out here. But still, we have a grid net. That's good. So what we can do, let's just set inline styles here. Yeah, let me think. Yeah, you know what? Let's have another. Let's just have this one. What we can do here is if we always increment I, is to get some different colors to this. What we can do is to use modulus to say if I, let's see, what's the syntax for this? I think, there we go. Then background, let's set a different color. Let's call it, I don't know color codes. Let's see, 7, 5, and something like that. And else background is supposed to be, oh, I forgot to close this. Background is supposed to be, let's call it something else, like I have no idea what kind of colors we'll get here. So what this is, it's called modulus, and it basically takes this number, divides it by whatever number you type here, which in this case is 2, and then sees how many numbers are left. So if we have 5 and we do this, then it will go down to 1, and there will be 1 left. So it will be an uneven number. So if it's 2, it will be 0. If it's 4, it will be 0. So it will be uneven numbers. And so that means every other one is going to be going to fail on this one. So let's just set an inline style here. Style background equals background. I think that's good. Maybe. There we go. Wow, these colors are horrible. So we have a chessboard. uh, cool. So it's a bit more clear. It really doesn't match the rest of the colors, but that's fine. So let's see if we can, like, by clicking on one of these, if we can build something. So what are we gonna do? How do we do that? I'm actually not sure. First of all, we should probably save in our database. We need to have something for our structures. Let's create a new table. Let's just call it world. That's fine. Whose world is it? It's mine. So we create an index, a primary index, and we will. Let's see. How do we best do this? So I would think that there's plenty of things we could do. We could make this into a varchar and just have this as our buildings. And then what this will contain, let's just save this so I can show you. If we add a row, which number was I? 13? I think it was 13. Yeah, 13. And then we could just like comma separate the buildings like this. So this would mean that, or no, this is probably not a good way to do it. But something like this would be fine. So if our grid only had 2 times 2, so if there was only 4 spaces, we could use this kind of structure. Where we say in the first spot, we have the building with the ID 1, and then we'd have a separate database for buildings. In the second spot, we have nothing, third nothing, fourth nothing. Because right now I cannot come up with a better structure for it. Let's go with this. Let's create one called buildings. We'll give them ID. And this one can be auto-incremented. That's fine. Because here we are just going to create our buildings. And building, or let's just call it name. And maybe it should have some other stats, like maybe income. Or maybe army defense value, something like that. Do you spell defense like that? I don't know. One of them. Let's just for now go with this, because all of this you can just change later on, so it's fine. Primary, and very often, I mean, if we start with this, which might seem like a terrible way to structure things, I mean, this is something that we can change later if we come up with a better way. Let's create a building. Let's call it name. Whoops. Maybe town hall. Is that 1 or 2 words? Let's go with 2. And the town hall will give us an income of 50 unspecified. We have 4 values, but yeah, we should probably have a. You know what? Let's just get different ones. Income gold, income stone, income wood, and income. What else is left? Iron. Oh, and this should be ints. Come on, ints, int, and finally an int. Let's just give them a. They don't need to be that big. Okay, so we have a town hall. It gives us 50 gold. It gives us 50 and everything. It also gives us some defense, like 25. That's fine. So if we, let's see, I don't want to manually have to type all of this in. You know what? Let's do this smaller for now. Let's do this much smaller. Let's change it so it's 2 by 2. All right, that's not going to work. 2 by 2, and then we also need to change. So our width is like 49. I guess we could have like 49.5. Yeah, we should probably have a similar height as well. Oh, come on. This is not going well. 30, maybe? Yeah, this is fine. Not working very well with our coloring here. Ah, yeah, because it's uneven. You know what? I want this to look nice. And I don't want to have to change this. Let's just go with 3. So we'll have them 3 by 3. They will be 30% big or wide and maybe 20% high. Let's see. There we go. That's fine. That's fine. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Let's just set up a few breaks like that. All right. So where were we? We were going to, okay. Because this, for now, let's just type this in manually. All right, so now we have all of them. Right now we have all of them. Perfect. We have all of them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we have nothing in either one of them. It's weird that we don't start on 0. It's fine. All right, so let's start by setting this up. So if we should probably do a query here. We can probably do it up here. Yeah, let's do it up here. So what we can do is to do we can do a inner join where we basically say we will get the resources and we will also get the world, and we need to match these on something, so we will match them on the world.id. So the ID in the world table, that should be the same as the resources.id, and that's gonna work. We also need to type that in there. So like so. So if we run this, let's just do a var dump on the results. Result is to see what happens. We update, and you can see that we get all of this. All of this. Oh, we are getting this as a, okay, yeah, that's fine. So now we get all of those. So we have our string of buildings. So let's just go down here and let's remove this with the background because we don't need that. Don't need the eye. Because basically now we will just check if there is something built or not. So we can just say let's start by splitting this up. Our buildings, and we can use the function called explode. I think it's called explode. It's not helping us with the syntax. Let's see. Okay. So the input string, the delimiter, and yeah. So that's just all we need to say. We need to do the result buildings. So now we are taking this string, the buildings string, and we are saying for every time you see a comma, chop it up into an array. So if we do a var dump on our buildings, you can see that if we update this, you can see it will look like this instead. So that's much better. Because now we can loop through this and we can say, hang on, do we actually need, give me a second. Yeah, so we need to do this again. You know what? let's head back to our database, because we don't really gain anything from prefixing it with these numbers. So let's just do like that. I think I wrote one too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So this is our buildings. 9 zeros. So if we run that, well, we get 9 zeros. And that means we should be able to match this pretty easily. Because what we can do here, instead of... let's just make this simple for us. We can just say that if our buildings... Oh, we actually need an index as well. Hang on. So up here we will say I equals 0. And every time we do something in the loop, we will just go... we will add one to the I, to the index. So what we can say is if I is 0, then let's just print out the word nothing. Else something. And we can just put that in here. So if we update that, we get something on all of them. Really? Oh, it's because I'm matching. Yeah. So here we can see the difference between matching on strings and matching on integers. When you type in 3 equal signs, that means match the type and the contents. When you use type 2, it just says match the contents. So even though here we are matching on a string, on an int, the int 0, everything in our database is in strings. So with 2 we will get a match, with 3 we won't. So if we write 3 and then we do like that, so we are matching the string 0, then we will also get nothing. So in that sense it works. But if we remove those and just type a 0, we will get something. So I guess we can just do that. So right now, if we say, for example, we wanted to build something in the middle, or we had something in the middle rather, then let's just do that. Let's just type in a 1 in the middle. And you can see we have nothing on the sides, we have something in the middle. You know what, let's give this a line height of, I think we type in 20% here, I'm not actually sure, to center the text. Yeah, we don't. I guess we can type in 100%? No, we cannot. Oh well. Let's just for now type in 80 pixels. Oops, sorry. God damn it. This is not going well. Anyways, forget about that one. We'll just remove that line. We'll fix it later. So right now, we have something in the middle. So I'm not sure what the best way here is to, let's remove this var dump, because it's annoying, it takes up a lot of space. I'm not sure what the best thing to do here, because here we will match on something. So we can either do a query here to get with the building name and maybe a picture if we have that in the future. We don't right now. Or maybe in the beginning, because it's very likely that we're going to have some kind of building. Let's just for now do it in the start. Let's just say select everything from buildings. I did call it buildings, right? Yeah. And let's just do this. DB query SQL. Let's just call this something else like buildings dB maybe, I don't know. Uh, and they just fetch all. So now we will have all the buildings in there. So in here we could, instead of just saying nothing, we could just match on the we can just let's see, how do we do this? You know what, let's do a var dump so we can see what we need to match on. I think it always helps to do a var dump. Well, we need to do it inside the PHP code, of course. Okay, so it looks like this. Yeah, this is not going to work very well. Or is it? Hang on, let me just wrap my head around this. Let's just insert another one called, oops. That's automatical, didn't even need to fill that in. Let's just, barracks. Is that how you spell that? I don't think it is. Oh, I'm on a different screen. Sorry about that. So let's just insert another building here called a guard tower. Just give us some defense, I don't know. So it's like that, and we just update this. Okay, yeah, so it'll be like this. Okay, for now, I cannot wrap my head around how we're going to do this easily, so let's do it the annoying way of having a query every time we succeed in hitting something, or every time we have a building. So just for now, just for the test, we will fix this later after I have prepared before a episode. I just do all of these on the fly, so things can get a bit not thought through. So we will select on the buildings where the ID is. We can just type in our buildings. I wonder if that works. I don't think it likes this kind of syntax. The SQL, that is. Let's just go like that. So like this, and we will just echo out the actually the text will be the buildings DB and the name. Let's just echo out the name. And let's try to run that. Hang on, let's remove all the var dumps. We have one there. Is that all? Yeah. Oh. That's not good. On line 46. So this one didn't work. Oh, I see. We missed a where. Whoops. There we go. So now it says town hall. So if we have a different building, let's just put it over here. We have 2 town halls. Let's get a couple of barracks. Not barracks, what do we call them? Guard towers. So like that, we have guard tower, town hall, guard tower. So yeah, let's do it this way for now. But we are gonna find out how to do this in a better way, so we don't need to have so many queries. I mean, generally speaking, it's not a lot of like processing power to do one of these queries, but I think you should try to minimize them as much as you can. And this is actually something that can be read in and just like kept in a session variable, or something like that, so we don't need to do these all of the time. Because we could just like save this entire, not the HTML code, but we could save a lot of this, so we don't need to do any queries. Because the only time this is gonna change is if we demolish a building or if we build a new building, and then we can update that. Uh, the resources, I think we would need to get them every time because I don't know how often we will update this, but let's say once an hour you will get resources or once every 10 minutes. Then it's probably not a good way to have them in a more like permanent manner for the user. They should be dynamical. So let's end the episode here because I will need to do some thinking. In the next episode, let's see if we can place down buildings by like clicking, getting up a small interface, and just choose which building we want, and also pay for them. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.